Check this out. This is a spacewalk from 2019. NASA astronaut Andrew Morgan throws here into space the International Space Station's debris shield. The problem is, the shadow of truth is going to expose this silly space charade for us. It would seem as we can see the shadow which is already being cast upon the shield, which the astronaut is going to toss supposedly into space. But as the item rotates round, it seems the special effects department didn't really take into account the shadow, and as a result made a right mess of this. So obviously pay particular attention to the shield tossed by the astronaut, and of course the shadow which we can already see is cast upon it straight off the bat. So let's have a look. The item's facing the astronaut at the moment with the shadow cast on it, okay? Now the item's rotated round to the right, but strangely enough, the same shadow is being cast on the face of the item, despite the item being rotated round to the right. Strange. You might want to get your special effects department to sort themselves out. Let's see it again. That is terrible, lads, and it's about to get worse. Bear with me. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, the shadow of truth, courtesy of NASA's Special Effects Department, absolutely exposing and annihilating the International Space Station for us. We're now going to jump on board a U-2 spy plane, and now we're going to annihilate the International Space Station again, courtesy of the United States Air Force.
I think that means Major Cabegas and student Spaceman May are the second highest people in the world. Yes! Oh man, I've got that curvature of the horizon thing. Look at that, that's perfect.
It is perfect, James, and I love it. I've got to be honest, I absolutely love it. Do you know why? Because it makes an absolute mockery of NASA's footage, which is supposedly showing curvature from space. And what it does do is highlight the fact that most of NASA's footage comes from U-2 spy planes, which they have, of course, I've highlighted previously. And any curvature we see is optical and not physical. Because when I blend an image here of citation of curve, and I blend it with the image we've just seen from the shadow of truth, supposedly a spaceman outside a space station throwing junk into space, orbiting a ball. When I compare the two bits of so-called curvature, we've had James May cite this, and of course the spaceman supposedly going around the ball. When I blend the two images together, surprise, surprise, it's the same amount of curvature. Who would have thought? Proving that any curve, as I've shown many times, is optical and not physical. This is James May's citation of curvature at 70,000 feet. And this is the curvature from the shadow of truth, an astronaut supposedly outside a space station throwing rubbish into space. 70,000 feet, James May. And the shadow of truth, supposedly a man 250 miles up, orbiting a ball at ludicrous speeds. But of course, when we compare the curvature, it's exactly the same, proving it's optical and not physical. And of course, the rubbish with the shadow of truth on it destroyed this silly pantomime before we even got going. This is clearly mockery at this point in time, from the people who produce the space stuff to the people who defend it. Ridiculous. So So let's finish up with the shadow of truth, again highlighting the absurdity of all of this nonsense. Absolutely ridiculous. Just like that so-called curvature there, which of course we know is optical and not physical, and the fact we've got no warping before it here on the astronauts' tools, of course then tells us the fact that astronaut footage has been layered into the so-called globe Earth footage, which of course we know is U2 footage, and of course the augmented reality thing here, rubbish, so-called rubbish, has then been put in after, and of course, as we've seen here, the special effects department did an absolutely terrible job with the shadow. Again, exposing the International Space Station. Dear, oh dear, oh dear.